I bid you all good morning, good evening, and good night, wherever you're watching this transmission. It is I, Mike Martins, the voice of the Commonwealth. Wherever you're watching this transmission, guys, thanks for joining me. Okay, sideliners, people waiting on the sidelines, competing against wealthy investors, dirty money, laundered money, corrupt politicians. Our politicians have done nothing to stop the flow of illegal money and the amount of illegal drugs coming in and on our shores, and it just keeps going on and shadow flipping of our properties and leaving people out hung to dry. And the Canadian proper, the Australian proper, the New Zealand proper, the UK proper could no longer get into the markets, in their own housing markets, in the cities they were born and raised and educated in and have a degree. Have to move out. Well, I got some good news for everybody out there. So here it is, guys. I got several articles here, all tying into one story, and it's a big story, guys, because it looks like the Chinese government's going to do something to help the Commonwealth. And what are they going to do? Well, before we get into that, guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Less than 20% of the people that watch my videos are subscribed. Don't forget to set your reminders for trends in the housing market this Wednesday and Mike in the Night this Saturday. Set your reminders, guys, and be part of the channel. So what am I talking about? Well, let's start off with something a little bit more Bloomberg. What is Bloomberg telling us? Let me stretch this out so you guys can actually see it. China starts taxing its citizens for global income. Yes, this was from July 10th, 2020. This was from 2 days ago. No big deal, guys. 3 days ago, actually. Those in Hong Kong and Singapore are among the first hit. Some of the affected are considered ways to avoid extra tax. Okay, so what's happening is, well, there's a lot of income being made in China, and a lot of people aren't declaring their incomes. So what's happening? Well, because the country is being left hung to dry with all this negative backlash that China has been going through, all this negativity with just around the world with all the governments and stuff, and everybody ponying up to go to war, and wow. Anyways, China has started tracking down some of its citizens living abroad to collect taxes, surprising expatriates who never had to pay levies back home on overseas income, according to people familiar with the matter. State-owned enterprises operating in Hong Kong, which has one of the lowest tax rates in the world, told mainland Chinese expats recently to declare their 2019 income so they could pay taxes at home, according to the people who asked not to be named because they aren't authorized to speak publicly on the matter. Chinese SOEs are also informing employees working in other places such as Singapore. Two of the people said China, which charges taxes as high as 45%, revised its income tax rules in January last year to help authorities start collecting money from its citizens worldwide. Similar to to what the U.S. does with Americans living abroad, but Beijing also disclosed detailed instructions this year on how to file such taxes, catching many expatriates flat-footed. Oh yeah, this is a huge rude awakening for a lot of Chinese expats living over in the Commonwealth. The move signals the beginning of what could be a major shakeup for one of the largest expat communities in the world, as some could see their tax bills soar. Though specific statistics on expats weren't immediately available, Chinese state media have reported there are about 60 million ethnic Chinese living overseas. 60 million? I would think there'd be a lot more than that. 60 million. 60 million. Let me just think here. Yeah, I could kind of see that. I could kind of see that. Okay, there are 80,000 to 150,000 mainland Chinese working in Hong Kong. Okay, wow, that's a lot. Just in Hong Kong, 150,000, wow. According to the South China Morning Post, which earlier reported on the issue, Chinese citizens working in Macau have also been told to start paying income taxes back home, according to Nikkei Asian Review. Chinese State Taxation Administration didn't immediately respond to facts seeking comment. The move could be a big blow for Chinese expats working in places such as Hong Kong, who've only had to pay a minimum 15% of their salaries in taxes. That's a third of the mainland China's highest tax bracket. But in Canada, we pay close to 40 to 50% of our taxes. We work over 6-7 months a year for the government here in Canada, right? And we're heading towards a socialist government. We are heading towards communism. Well, it goes to socialism, then eventually it starts breaking into communism when companies can't afford to pay their property taxes, and basically the corporate capitalist business can't afford to stay afloat and keep the private sector afloat, and then it just starts to break down into a big mosh pit of just takedowns of just, I don't know how to put it, oozing delinquencies and bad debt and redebts and restructures and government buyouts, and yeah, it starts becoming this disease that starts to grow, and then it's too little too late to fix it or bring back the way things were back in the 80s. Though Chinese nationals have theoretically been obliged to pay taxes on their global income for many years, it hadn't been enforced, said Jackie Chu, who heads PwC's China's Global Mobility Services. The change could be a boon for accounting firms. Boom or boon? Is this a boon? We have seen a surge of companies asking for our advice, Chu said. China didn't have such a large numbers of expats working overseas when the old tax legislation drafted decades ago. That could be why many of the people were not entirely aware of the requirement. Oh, they're playing the I don't have to pay taxes because I'm no longer there. I don't know, guys. That's a very, very simple, easy question to ask, right? So here it is from the Taipei Times. See, tracking down its citizens abroad to collect taxes, and they haven't paid levies. So it's back to exactly what the other article says. And then we have it from BNN Bloomberg. China starts taxing its citizens' global income for the first time. China has started tracking down some of its citizens. Again, same article, but slightly reworded to paraphrase most of it is just cut and paste, right? So there it is, guys. What do you guys think about this? So we know what's happened with a lot of money that's been coming in from China, especially like when they are working overseas. It's a lot of corporate numbers. So they're corporate numbers. They're not coming here to work at McDonald's. They're coming here with corporate numbers, right? So here it is here. This is the forefront of it here. Canada would be in a recession without money laundering. So this has been going on for many years, and I've been following this for many years. Canada would be in a recession without money laundering, and it's very true. So Canada shut down its money laundering investigations. We got from 2011 to 2015, and how much was it again? $200 billion was basically laundered through 98% of it through real estate and shadow flipping. And they only investigated from 2011 to 2015. Imagine if they open the floodgates and a new government comes into play and finds out who's got what and what has what and who owns what. A lot of Canadians would wake up to a rude awakening knowing that probably over 30, maybe 40% of their country is in Chinese corporate hands. All these big towers in downtown Vancouver, the Bentall Center, all these big corporations, even our big ski resorts are owned by China now. And we are losing everything. And we are selling to the highest bidder, right? So I wanted to throw this out there. What is going on? Working overseas, you know what that covers, guys? They don't go into specifics here. That means corporate structured numbers overseas and people sitting on empty properties. Could this actually flip on the flip side and actually hurt the Commonwealth with more people opening corporate numbers or unidentified numbers to park their money in more empty real estate and leave more homes empty in the long run? Could this happen? Because that could actually be a way that our governments, because our governments have been hand in hand with Chinese laundering their money in the Commonwealth, right? Australia casino money laundering. So here it is. Australian officials who helped Chinese high rollers obtain visas face probe over money laundering claims. So these are like lots of places are basically laundering billions of dollars through the Commonwealth. It's all over the place, guys. It's not just Australia. It's not just Canada. It's all over the place. And the reports also said that the cousin of President Xi Jinping, Ming Chai, holds an Australian passport and was aboard a private jet that was searched by Australian agents in 2016 on suspicion the aircraft was involved in money laundering. Wow. Wow. Sorry, guys. I didn't expect to see that. And again, gambling investigation, high rollers, cousins. So there's a lot of money being flown into. Yep. Lots of money being laundered through these countries, whether it's through casinos, majority of 95% of it goes through housing, because the stipulations in the Commonwealth is basically it's a free market, open market. So instead of opening a fake company and layering the money and actually contributing towards taxes and things like that, the money's actually being shadow flipped into housing. So somebody will sell another corporate number a house for $2 million, sell them back for 2.1 to the other corporate company. Then the other corporate was with 2.2, 2.3, and they just keep flipping the same house back and forth. And then this skews the numbers of properties, what realistically properties should be worth. So this is very damaging, and it's been happening right across in Ireland, Scotland, England, Canada, Western United States, and New York and Massachusetts, and Australia and New Zealand, even parts of Jamaica, and Africa is being pillaged, and it's been really tough. So could this taxation help? Who knows? Could it actually backfire and force more people with liquid money, or money that could be like verified, to be parked into real estate through a corporate entity and leave more empty homes? Let me know. Comment below. Look forward to reading your comments. Thanks for watching.